So hello friends, today we are going to talk about the fourth chapter of optics, that is interference and diffraction. So today we are going to have a brief overview of interference and related concepts. So today we are going to consider the chapter interference and diffraction. See, we all know light is a form of energy, and basically when we consider any light source, it emits energy. So if this is a light source, then energy is emitted in all directions. So like this, the light energy is spread everywhere around that light source. And now the distribution of energy is uniform in the medium. That means whenever that light is emitted, the most important thing that the distribution of energy is uniform in the medium. So that is one important thing. But now when two light sources of same wavelength, so see here it is, when we consider about the light and say this is a wavelength of light, so from this point to this point it is a wavelength of light, and from this peak to this peak we talk about the amplitude of the light wave. So when two light sources of same wavelength and same amplitude lie close to each other, then due to superposition of waves of two sources, the distribution of energy no longer remains uniform. So here if we are considering, suppose two sources of light, this is one source and another source, remember that its amplitude A and wavelength lambda, they are same and they must be same. When they start emitting light, and consider that when this light is emitted, similarly this source is also emitting light, then they interfere each other, and due to that, as in single source we saw the light energy is uniformly distributed in the medium, but here there is no uniform distribution. In short, there is a non-uniform distribution, and that is also called as a interference. So see what is interference. It is, see, that is also called as a interference. And see what interference, it is a phenomena of non-uniform distribution of energy. That why this non-uniform distribution, it is due to superimposition or superposition of light waves is called as the interference of light. Now here let us consider interference of two waves in a phase. So as we saw, this is a light wave and this is another wave. So here we see that there are two waves having same amplitude A and same wavelength also. So same wavelength means, see, the wavelength lambda of both the waves are same. So now when they interfere, so interference of two waves in a phase, so phase angle of both the waves are same, then we get the effective amplitude, that is capital A is equal to small a plus a. So in short, amplitude of the wave increases. As amplitude A is now equal to A plus A, that is 2A. But one important thing is that intensity of light, resultant light IR, is directly proportional to A square. But we know that A is equal to 2A. So the intensity IR is equal to 4A square. So that is to be noted. The intensity of resultant is 4A square, or we know that 4I. So here remember that resultant intensity is greater than sum of the intensities. So see, actually we should get the intensity which is sum of the two intensities, but here we are getting it 4 times I. So therefore 4 resultant intensity, that is 4I, is greater than I plus I. But here thing to be remembered is that both the waves are in phase and resultant intensity is increased, means this type of interference is called as a constructive interference. So in constructive interference we get bright spot, bright band or bright fringes, what we call. So their brightness is increased because of this relation, that is resultant intensity is 4 times I. So, and we know that sum of intensities, that is intensity of separate waves, if we consider, the resultant sum of the intensities are only I plus I, that is 2I. So in constructive interference the intensity is increased. Now let us talk about the destructive interference. So we saw constructive interference is because of both the waves were in phase, but now here the waves which are interfering, that we are going to consider out of phase. So see, here it is, this is a first wave having same amplitude, same wavelength lambda, but in another case amplitude is same, wavelength is also same, but there we see a phase shift. So here it is positive, here we get a negative. So phase shift of 180 degrees there, and now when they travel and interfere and both the waves are 180 degree out of phase with each other, whenever they interfere, that their amplitude, say this is positive, this is negative. So effective amplitude A is equal to A minus A is equal to 0. But again we know that intensity is directly proportional to A square, and since A is 0, so resultant intensity is 0. So therefore in this case IR, which is actually equal to intensity of this plus this, but resultant intensity is not that, we are getting it is 0, which is less than this. So now we saw when two waves of the same wavelength, same amplitude and same phase interfere, we get a constructive interference, and in which we get a bright band. And in case of destructive interference, as the both waves are out of phase, we get dark band. Now thus we can say that there it is a redistribution of energy takes place. So now due to interference, now the energy being transformed in the medium, it is not evenly distributed or uniform distribution, it is uneven. So in case of bright band the intensity is very large, and in case of dark band intensity is 0. So now intensity at maxima, that means when two waves interfere each other having same phase, so there at that spot we get intensity is equal to 4A square, that is the maximum intensity. And when the point where two waves interfere and they are out of phase, that intensity is 0. But remember that when we talk about according to law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And what we saw as these two sources which are emitting light energy, and whenever they interfere, and we are observing that in spite presence of light and interference, we get 0 intensity at minima and 4A square at maxima. So then question is, what about this energy, which should be actually addition of I plus I, but here we get 4A square and here it is 0, it is a redistribution. So now according to law of conservation, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, or energy cannot be destroyed, that is important. So in this case the energy is not destroyed at all, but it is only a redistribution of energy. So maximum energy is transferred to bright spot and no intensity, and no energy is transferred at dark spot. Now here it is only distribution of energy from position of maximum intensity, minimum intensity to the maximum intensity. So as we saw, the intensity due to two waves should be actually 2a square, but here after interference we saw that the intensity becomes 4a square. So now it seems that the energy is increased, but in fact, see what is happening. Here it is, a figure shows variation of intensity with phase difference. Now here it is, when interference is taking place and there it is a phase difference, then this is a plot of intensity versus phase difference. So here you observe, at certain places we get maximum intensity and at certain points we get zero intensity. This is intensity axis. So maximum intensity possible at these points is shown, that is a 4a square, and at these points, because of phase difference, we get zero intensity. But actually the average energy is 2a square. Now this 2a square energy is distributed between bright points and dark points, and if we take the average of all those points, the total energy is 2a square. So this is average energy, and these are the intensities at maxima and minima. Again note that here we observe that intensity is 0. So as phase angle changes, we see that intensity is increasing, and at this point it becomes maximum. Again it decreases, becomes 0. So that is continuously going on, and it depends on the angle, and relation of intensity with that angle is I is equal to 4a square cos square delta by 2. So this relation, in which when this angle is changed, corresponding intensity also changes. So the intensity varies from 0 to 4a square, and average is still 2a square, and as we saw, I is equal to 4a square cos square delta by 2, and average of square of cosines, if we take, it is 1/2, and when we put that value here, it is 1/2, and that is why I is equal to 2a square. That means average energy is, intensity is this, but still we get maxima, minima, and according to phase change, that intensity is changing. Now this I is equal to 2a square, it is equal to the uniform intensity of 2a square, which will be present in absence of interference phenomena. That means whenever we consider two waves and separately we calculate the intensity, then that intensity of two separate waveforms are 2a square, and after interference, though we get maxima and minima, but average is 2a square. That is to be noted. So we can say interference of two waves is in accordance with the conservation of energy. That is, there it is only redistribution of energy. Energy can neither be created. Uniform distribution is because of according to conservation of energy. Now let us consider types of interference. See types of interference. See, first interference, that means this is say one source, this is another source, and when waves are emitted through this source, they interfere and we get an interference. Now what are the basic types of interference? So first one is division of wavefront. That is first type. So in division of wavefront, remember that a single source of light is used. See, this is source. So here from this source, as we see that wavefronts are traveling, so this is the wavefront, and as this wavefront has the same amplitude, same wavelength, same phase, then after passing through these slits, it is again traveled in the medium, and when the wave travels in this direction, the same wave, another wave travels in this direction. Remember that these both the waves are originated from a single same wave front. So obviously it is a coherent source of light. So now when they interfere, so these are the points of interference. See, remember that this is a wave and this is another wave. So at this point they are interfering. Again at this point interfering, as this point interfering this. So in this way the interference is going on. Now the points where both the wavefronts are in same phase meet, there we get a bright, and the point where, say these are the bright points, and point where two waves after traveling creates phase change and they interfere, there it is a dark point. So now here it is, in single wave front, here it is used, or it is passed through two slits and they interfere and we get interference pattern. So its examples are double slit experiment or biprism or Fresnel's double mirror. These are the experiments which use here the interference by division of wavefront. Now we are considering interference by division of amplitude. So see, understand this concept. Amplitude or intensity. See, amplitude of incident wavefront, that is ray, is divided into two parts. So here the division is caused by either reflection and refraction. So how it is happening, that let us consider. See, here we see for this kind of process a thin film is used. So thickness of thin film is 0, about 0.5 micrometer to 10 micrometer, and say it must be comparable to the wavelength of light. If distance is very large, then the reflected wave cannot interfere. So now see, when we consider a thin film, let us consider it is a very thin film of a glass or a refracting material. Now when light ray, this ray is incident here. So once the ray incident, so it is reflecting as well as refracting. Okay, so here some part is passed through the film and some part is reflected. So here whatever amount of light, let us consider the intensity of the light or amplitude, it is 100% of the incoming. Then about 90, only 4% is reflected, and as the film is transparent film, about 96% light travel in this direction. So note that here the light is traveling through air medium, then it is incident on the denser medium and reflected back. This part is reflected back in air medium and this part is refracted and passes through denser medium. Now here when 96% travel in this direction, again as the film is transparent, 92% almost it is transmitted in this direction, and remaining part, that is 4%, is actually reflected from other surface of the film. And again upon reaching here, out of that 4%, see 3.65% is transmitted from this surface and some part is reflected back to other surface, and this way the process is going on. So here we observe that the reflected rays having, here it is originally 100% intensity or amplitude, now that only 4% is reflected, later on 3.65, then later on and so forth. So maximum possible energy is actually available in these two rays, then amplitude decreases. That is one thing. And now when this ray and this ray when travel in this direction, as these rays are very close to each other, and again depending on the size of this thin film, when they travel they interfere each other and interference pattern is generated, and that interference pattern is called as, here as we saw, the interference by division of amplitude. So part of amplitude is reflected, part of amplitude is transmitted. Again some part is reflected here and again it is transmitted. So these reflected rays form a interference pattern. Now let us consider the film is there. We know this is air medium, this is other medium which we are using, and let us consider refractive index of the film is 1.52. So what is the reflectivity of top surface? So it can be calculated by this, that is R is equal to this 1.52 minus 1 divided by 1.52 plus 1 bracket square, and we get the reflectivity of top surface R is around 0.042. So we can say that a very small part of the light is reflected back. So now at each reflection, the intensity and hence the amplitude of light wave is divided into reflected component and refracted component. So here it is, if this is 100% amplitude, then 4% is reflected and remaining is refracted. Similarly here, again some part is reflected and some part is refracted. So this way alternate reflection and refraction occurs, and we get the reflected rays as well as transmitted rays, and these rays interfere each other to form interference. The reflected and refracted components travel along different paths and subsequently overlap to produce interference that we already saw. Now here in case of by amplitude division method, in this method source of light should be in extended form, and following are the experiments in which the concept is used, that is a Newton's rings, Michelson interferometer, vase-shaped films, parallel slider film which we saw now. So these are some experiments in which the amplitude division interference is observed. Now let us talk about phase change on reflection. So see what is phase, that let us understand first. Remember that, see this is a wave which we have drawn. Now see, here it is, this is positive axis and this is negative axis. Now when we draw another wave, and suppose here at t is equal to 0, the wave is traveling in upward direction, but here at t is equal to 0, wave is traveling in opposite direction. So here it is, a starting angle of the wave decides the phase angle, and here we observe that the angle difference is 180 degree. So these are the waves which are 180 degree out of phase. So now on reflection, what phase is change that we are going to see, that is phase change on reflection. That means here suppose there it is a surface on which light ray falls which has certain phase, but upon reflection does it change phase or not, that we are going to consider. Second important thing we are going to see Evans-Stokes treatment, in which see this ray is reflecting which is in rare medium and reflection is also in rare medium, but here we consider that this ray is also reflecting. Now this ray is reflecting in air medium but on the surface of denser medium, and here we are getting the reflection of the ray in denser medium itself. Here it is a boundary of denser and air medium. Now let us consider phase change or reflection, that is Stokes treatment we are going to consider. What is that? That is very important. See, the treatment is based on the principle of reversibility of light or the principle of optical reversibility. So here we are going to consider the light can be reversed. Light is reversible, that means it can traverse a path through which it has come. So here it is, let us consider there it is a surface. This is media having refractive index say mu1, and here it is mu2. Now as this light ray PQ is incident on this surface, so we see here this is a normal to the surface and the light ray is reflected. So QR is reflected. Let us consider R times a part of amplitude of this. Suppose it has amplitude A, then R is a corresponding coefficient, that is amplitude reflection coefficient. So part of A, which is R times A, is reflected, and this is a transmission coefficient, amplitude transmission coefficient, and part of that light reflected, it is AT. Remember that this amplitude A is equal to AR plus AT, provided that the energy is not being absorbed by other anything that we are considering. Now here it is reflection and refraction of light. Assuming that there is no absorption of light, so if there is no absorption of light, so we can say that A must be equal to AR plus AT. So here it is shown, that is AR plus AT must be equal to 1. So from this we can say that R plus T is equal to 1. So remember that amplitude reflection coefficient plus amplitude transmission coefficient is equal to 1. So in this case, so remember this is a relation. Now let us apply a principle of optical reversibility. What does it mean? That see, we consider the ray was traveling from P to Q, then it was traveling from Q to R. Similarly, the ray was traveling from P to Q and this part is transmitted. Okay, so now we are considering optical reversibility. That means we are going to consider the ray which is being reflected. Now it changes its direction in opposite and travels in this direction. Similarly, transmitted light which travels from Q to T, it also changes its direction and travels in this direction. So here it is air medium and here it is glass medium. So let us consider that ARR is equal to see, here it is a part which was reflected is AR and part. So now note here that the part which was reflected was AR. Now let us consider it is using the principle of optical reversibility. It is traveling in again opposite direction. So when this ray of light is incident here, again part of this ray is reflected and part of this ray is transmitted. So the part of reflected ray goes in this direction. Okay, so here it is AR is the original amplitude and the part which is reflected, which depends on reflection coefficient. So AR, that is the amplitude of this ray, into reflection coefficient, that is AR square part, is reflected in this direction. Similarly, this AR is there and using transmission coefficient. Okay, so AR, and when it transmits, the type transmission coefficient is T. So this amplitude times transmission coefficient, this part is transmitted. Okay, so first of all remember that in our case, when light was incidenting here, part was reflecting and part was transmitting. So at this path there was no light at all initially. That light was 0, that remember. But now as applying this optical reversibility, we see that the some part, that is ART, travels in this direction. That is first thing. Second, when light is incident here, now the ray QT, along QT, the part traveling was AT. Now when it reverses its direction, similarly some part of AT is reflected and some part of AT is transmitted. So now for this ray, the transmission coefficient is T dash, and so AT is the amplitude of this ray, but after transmission the transmission coefficient is t dash, so at t dash is transmitted. Similarly here it is a reflection coefficient is r dash, so a r dash t is reflected. So here if reflected wave qr and transmitted wave q2 are reverse their path, then resultant should be the wave of original amplitude a. Now as we saw, AR is along QR is reverse its path, so it got reflected part, that is AR square, and transmitted part, that is ART. And similarly for transmitted component, we saw the reflected part is AR dash T and transmitted part ATT dash. Now when we talk about along PQ, so here along PQ we are expecting that the light which is reflected and transmitted, when it returns back, that its amplitude should be original amplitude, that is A. So therefore AR square plus ATT dash is equal to A, or we can say that TT dash must be equal to 1 minus R square. So from this formula, and we know that originally no light travels along QS, that we saw. Here it is, the light was traveling in this direction, part was reflecting and part was transmitting, but this direction there was no light, so originally no light travels along QS. So we have got the component along this, that component is ART plus AR dash T. So if amplitude A travels in this direction, some part is reflected, some part is transmitted, and when it reverses the path, actually A should be equal to AR plus AT. Now this comes into picture, so actually this amplitude was 0, so it should be 0. So therefore ART, reflected and transmitted component, should be equal to 0, and from this we can say that is R must be equal to minus R dash in order to get this is 0, or R dash must be equal to minus R. So that is to be noted. So here we know that R is reflection coefficient and R dash is also a reflection coefficient. So negative sign indicates that the displacement for reflected waves are in opposite direction. So as R is positive, R dash is negative, so the reflection here indicates that negative sign, the displacement for reflected waves are in opposite direction. This implies a phase change of pi on reflection. That means whenever reflection takes place, there it is a phase change of pi. So let us consider case 1. So we are considering that if there is a phase change of pi on reflection in medium 1, see here it is, we already saw R is a reflection coefficient in air medium and R dash is reflection coefficient in denser medium. But as we see this condition, that as this component is 0, that means previously as we saw, at this point there was no amplitude for the light ray, so that is equal to 0, and from this relation we got relation between reflection coefficient in air medium is equal to minus R dash, or R dash is equal to minus R. So here we can see that the relation between these coefficients in air medium and transmitted medium, here it is observed that negative sign means here it is a phase change of R dash is by 180 degree, and if we consider this relation, here it is a phase change of ray or light wave by 180 degree. Okay, so that is the case. Now here we are going to consider the cases. See if there is a phase change of pi on reflection in medium 1. So let us consider, here it is medium 1, and when light ray is traveled in this direction, so suppose it changes its phase by 180 degree. Okay, so that is one case. Then there must not be a phase change of pi on reflection in medium 2. So when we are considering another medium, so there should not be a phase change in this medium. That is case 1. Or second case is what? If phase is changing in this medium, so on reflection in this medium, then phase should not be changed in this medium. That is what the case. But now, then only this condition can be satisfied, that r is equal to minus r dash, and we get that component 0. So now when experiment is performed, it showed the case 1 is true. So conclusions are that, first thing, there is a phase change of pi when light is reflected in same rare medium from reflecting surface of denser medium. That means here the light is traveling through air medium, incident on denser medium, and it reflects, and in this case it is observed that there is a phase change. So phase change is taking place in case of R, and no phase pi when light is reflected in same denser medium from the reflective surface of rare medium. Now when the light is reflected in the denser medium from the surface of air medium, then there is no phase change. So practically it is, experimentally it is observed. So these are all the basic things which we should know about the interference of light. So next time we are going to consider interference by parallel sided thin films and other things. Okay, thank you very much.